What's up, YouTube? It's your boy JB, and I am here today with a review for Insecure, Season 4, Episode 2, titled Lowkey Distant. So, you guys, without further ado, let's go ahead and just jump right into this episode review. Alright, guys, so this episode opens up, so we see Molly and Andrew. So, Molly and Andrew have gone out on their date, and, they come out of the theater, and then Andrew gets a phone call. So, Molly, he was like, is it okay if I take it? She said, yeah. So he go take the phone call, and then it's a work phone call. So he comes back over where Molly is, and he tells her that it's a work phone call. And at this point, he's in a bad mood, and he wants sex with Molly. Molly's like, oh, you want your cake, huh? Yeah, I'm not feeling that. I'm not sharing my cake. And then we do see her sharing her cake, because they're in the room, and Andrew is doing what? Blowing Molly's back the fuck out. I'm like, yeah, Molly, you was all talk. When it came down to it, the little Asian boy put them moves on you and made you shut the fuck up. So how about that? Let's move on, you guys. Alright, you guys, so this episode is 3 months before the block party. So we see Issa. Issa's with Condola. So she and Condola are walking around the area where Issa wants to have this block party at. And Issa's just showing Condola, as you can see the dance floor being right here. I can see the stage being right here. I can see, food being right there. Everything she can see. And Condola's like, you know what, Issa, I think that's a really, really good idea. So I'm here for it. So then Issa, once they're just walking, and Issa's like, well, how about I take you out for drinks this weekend? And Condola's like, no, I can't do that. She's like, girl, what's up? She's like, she says, I'm going out of town. She says, is this work or is this, fun? It's a romantic weekend with Lauren. She was like, oh. I'm like, yeah, Issa, you didn't catch that right away, but, she did. So then, things once again gets awkward between Issa and Condola again, but they're able to make a joke about Lawrence and the fact that he likes mayo on his French fries, which I think that is nasty. No offense to anybody, because I do know people who eat mayo on their French fries. I just don't. Ugh, that just ain't for me. It is not for me. But they vibe off of that, and Issa and Condola actually really do have a good vibe with each other. So I mean, they work well together. They actually like each other. So what's the big fucking deal? There is none. So then we do see Issa, Tiffany, and Molly and Kelly. They're all dressed up for Halloween. Issa was had her costume was from School Days. Molly was Gabrielle Union's character in Bring It On. Tiffany was Cleopatra, and then Kelly she wasn't Niecy, was she? What's the other one named from Babs? I always forget. But she was one of the Babs, which that was cool. I actually like their outfits. Kelly couldn't handle that hair or that leather that she had on. And then Tiffany want to talk about putting toothbrushes in the kids' little bags. I'm like, I was with Kelly. I'm like, why would you put those kids are going, what you want them to do? Cut them into a shiv and stab you with it? Throw a toothbrush back at you? Go for it, Kelly. Tiffany. So then, Issa's telling them that everything is basically coming along with this block party. She got some of her vendors. She has some of her vendors, and she has a date. And then thanks to Tiffany, she also has her wine being sold to her at wholesale. And then, Issa goes off to talk, Issa goes to get something. I don't know what she was getting. And Molly comes up there where she was. And, they really hadn't really been talking to each other or anything like that lately. So they sit down, and then they want to start talking, they talk about Andrew. And, Kelly's like, girl, I've already heard the story, so I'm going to bow out. So Molly has a problem with the fact that he's not opening up to her. And I'm like, so he's letting you talk, pretty much, right? Now I get it, after a certain point, you would probably get tired of like, damn, when I talk to you, it's like pulling teeth. But for the most part, if he's just listening to you talk, what's the problem? I feel like Molly just wants to make a mountain out of a molehill because there is nothing. Because Molly talking about she want to slow things down, and I'm like, why would you slow things down? That makes no sense. Like Molly doesn't. I feel like Molly doesn't know how to talk to people, but you're a lawyer, especially when it comes to guys. She doesn't know how to vocalize shit, and it's like, do you want to be with this person? Do you want to be with anybody? Period. The only functional relationship you had, which was dysfunctional, was a shit with Dro. And that was dysfunctional as fuck. Let's move on. Alright, you guys. So next up, let's talk about Issa and TSA Bay. So they fucking. That was the most awkward looking. You know, when it first started out, I'm like, wait a minute. Issa is upside down. So she's hanging off of the bed, and I'm like, okay. If that's what helps Issa, get it off, who am I to judge? So she got one. So then, TSA base his time. So, he's telling her to press his booty button. I'm like, booty button? What the fuck is that? Are you trying to tell her to play with your asshole? Is that what you're doing? But okay, and he gets his. So then he's like, uh-oh. She's like, what? He's like, the condom was on. Now it ain't. She's like, what? What do you mean? She's like, he said, don't freak out. Don't freak out. So then, she go in the bathroom and she's like, well, it's not in me. And then, her mirror Issa is talking to her. Girl, I'm disappointed. She's like, I know. And then out of nowhere, plop, falls the condom. I was like, oh, okay. So then we do see Molly. So Molly called Andrew while she was at work. And she wanted to know what he's doing on Friday. He says, well, there is a Summer Walker concert in Novo. How about we go there? She's like, we can't really talk there. So how about you come over to my place? Something low-key so we can talk. He's like, okay, cool. So then, she tried to go and talk to Torian about some, this, I guess, a case that, their boss wants them to brief up on and get familiar with. He says, I'm going out of town. She's like, where are you going? Cabo. She's like, oh, you can stay at this. But he says, I don't need any help. And he leaves. I'm like, well, damn. Torian has not forgiven her, which I don't blame him, but whatever. So then we see Lawrence and Condola. So they're on a date, and they're talking about looking for LaToya. So he says that the white cops are really not looking for LaToya. And then he asks, while they're on the date, he asks for some mayo. And Condola starts laughing, and he's like, what's funny? She's like, oh, nothing. Well, really, Easton and I was talking about the fact that you eat mayo. She says, also, I didn't know that you ran track in college. She said, yeah, I did it for 1 year. But wait. You and Easton was talking about me? She says, well, we weren't talking about you like that. The thing was, your name came up, and it was kind of awkward, so we had to make a joke to kill the awkwardness. And she asked him, how does that make you feel? Do you feel better? And then we see him with Derek, and I can't remember what the other friend's name is. I forget it. But they talking to Lawrence. I can't remember the other friend whose name I don't remember right now. He told him that Issa and Condola are gonna have a podcast, somebody's dick size. I'm like, oh my god, that must have happened to you. And then Lawrence asked Derek, so how would you feel? Because Derek actually told him that he's, doing too much. Like, just chill, let it be. Like, don't feed too much into it, which I agree with him. Don't feed too much into it. And then he said, what, is it okay? Would it be okay with you? He says, oh, hell no. He says, every time I break up with a girl, I move. He said, damn, I miss Dallas. I'm like, oh, fuck. So if you and Tiffany didn't make it, you would leave Los Angeles. Well, actually, I really would leave Los Angeles dealing with Tiffany. But yeah, let's move on, you guys. All right, guys. So next we saw Easton and Condola. So I guess they were out like on a work date, discussing the block party, and then Molly shows up. So when Molly showed up, I'm like, this is gonna be an issue for Molly right off the bat. The fact that Condola is here. So Condola, they finished it, and Molly's like, so what's going on here? Were you guys working? Obviously, Molly. So then, Condola says, well, you know what? I'm gonna go get me something to eat. And, Issa's like, oh, no, sit down. You gonna eat with us? And Molly's like, she can? Yes, she can. Like, why are you doing the most for no reason? Because Molly was also in her feelings when a girl got the menu. I'm like, that's not a big deal, Molly. Why are you tripping about the menu? Once Condola finished with the menu, then you can look at the menu. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, Molly is just coming off haterish. Now, I do understand the fact that Molly said she doesn't know Condola like that and doesn't want to put her business out there. I understand that part. You know, when you and your friend are alone, that's when you have your conversation with your best friend. But to be doing this, it ain't that big of a deal. So then we see Lawrence. So Lawrence pulls up on Issa at her place, and, you know, he's talking to Issa about the situation between him, her, and Condola, and the fact that his name shouldn't come up in any kind of conversation with those two. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, bruh, you're taking yourself a little too lightly, aren't you? Because they were just laughing about the fact that you like mayonnaise. It ain't like Issa told her that you was a bum sleeping on her couch. She didn't do that. Yeah, that he shouldn't come up in your conversation. I mean, you're thinking a little bit too much of yourself, huh, bruh? A little bit too much of yourself. So let's move on, you guys. All right, you guys. So next, let's talk about Molly and Andrew. So Andrew does show up to Molly's place, you know, for dinner, and she's cooking for him. He told her food had too much salt in it. I don't know what it is about us and black people. Some of us put a little bit too much salt in our food sometimes. And you know, when he comes in there, he ain't really worried about the food. He was worried about getting some cake. She's like, oh no, how about we just chill and talk? So, you know, they start talking about some things. Now, when he mentions his siblings, I think she was showing him some photos of her family when they went to Disneyland, Disney World, one of the two. So she asked him, did his family ever go to one of them? He says no. You know, his sister didn't like he and his brother wanted to go, but his sister didn't like crowds. So then she starts to ask him a little bit more about his sister, and he shut down on her. And I'm like, well, and I don't know how she didn't get that sign. She kept pushing, like, well, you can tell me about it. He could tell you about it, but obviously there's probably something there that he doesn't want to talk about. And you didn't see that warning sign that, okay, you know what, you don't want to talk about it. I'm not going to keep pushing I'm not going to push. But I would have said, okay, if you don't want to talk about it, that's fine. But if you change your mind and you do want to talk, I am here to listen. But Molly just kept pushing. And I'm like, oh, God, here she goes. She's making another mountain out of a molehill. Like, are you serious, Molly? So then we see Issa. So Issa's outside of the concert for Schoolboy Q. And she texts Condola, who will be there in 10 minutes. And I did forget to mention that Issa wants Schoolboy Q to be her headliner. So then she also texts Lawrence. We see Lawrence watching, looking for LaToya. And the cops, Lawrence was correct. Those cops are not looking for LaToya. Because first of all, one of the cops called her Toyota, and then they have a missing person flyer. I'm like, y'all don't have an actual picture of LaToya. That is a drawing, a caricature drawing of LaToya. So people don't know what this woman really looked like. Y'all really don't care. So Issa calls Lawrence, and she tells him, you know, like, I'm meeting with Condola. So should I tell Condola that, you know, you and I met up and had a conversation? He was like, or should I just keep it quiet? He was like, yeah, stay quiet on that shit. And so how are you doing? It's better to hang up. Okay, bye. So then Molly calls Issa after Andrew left her because he got mad at her. And, you know, Issa was at the concert, so she couldn't answer the phone. And she texted Molly back and told her, like, hey, once this concert is over with, I'm going to give you a call back. So let's move on, you guys. All right, you guys. So then over at the law office, we see Molly. So Molly is in a meeting with her partners, and they're talking about some cases that are going on. And Molly is listening. So then the big boss, he asks her, do you have any opinions? She says, no. She says, oh, but she was like, nope. She says, I did just see a guy cleaning the windows. That is a dangerous job, she said. I'm like, that is a dangerous ass job for real though, man. Like at my office, we have window cleaners that come and clean the windows, and it is a dangerous job. Like we be looking at that shit, and it's just like, wow, how much do they really get paid to do that? Because sometimes they'll come down on a harness, just a single rope, and I'm like, ain't no way in hell I could do that. And then sometimes they come down on a little thing that has the railing around it. I don't know what you call it, and it just lowers them down. I'm like, but that could just move and boom, you go, a good gust of wind could come through. Yeah, just wouldn't do it. So then she goes to her office, and Tarian comes in her office, and he's asking her, like, if you had something to say, why didn't you say it? And she was like, she didn't want to be negative. Well, I mean, you do a good job of that every day in your life, huh? So then he tells her, like, okay, so if you do have something to say, Molly, please say it. Just say it. So, she apologizes to Torian about the situation with the last case. I mean, she was wrong for him in that last case. So then we see Issa and Molly. So they go on a hike. And, Issa just letting her know what's going on with her. And she do this fucked up ass dancing. And the woman's like, is she okay? She's like, she's just dancing. It's okay. So then Molly tells her how things left with her and Andrew. And Issa was like, like I said earlier, it feels like Molly just wants to find an issue where there shouldn't be an issue, which is true. And Molly got on her feelings. I'm like, but Molly, just kind of calm down just for a minute and look at it. You do make more out of a situation than it needs to be. So I don't understand why you getting mad like that. But I mean, Issa's telling you some real factual shit. So then, Andrew does call Molly and he apologizes to her, about not opening up to her because it's hard for him to do that. And that's what I was thinking to myself. It might be easy for Molly to open up to people, but it might not be that easy for him. You don't know what happened in his childhood. You don't know if there's anything that he doesn't just want to talk about. So for you to get so in your feelings, it made no sense. So then Issa told Molly that she and TSA they broke up because she was tired of, being plan B when she just wanted to plan A because he already got 2 kids and 1 on the way. So, yep, she's done with TSA, babe. And you guys, that is going to wrap it up for this video. So, be sure to like this video, leave your comments, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification button so you guys know when I drop anything else, share this video. And until the next one, you guys, stay safe, take care of yourself, and I will see you guys later. Peace out.